everyone, and welcome to Roll for Damage. We are here on a Friday night to run the third episode of the Faculty of Observation of Magical Objects. The title of tonight is The Last Dance, because this is the last episode. Something will happen tonight. I don't know if they'll win, but we're all going to find out together. My name is Mike Farty. I am DMing here tonight. I'm also the DM over at Wonders and Blunders. And there's just a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the stream. First off, you're hearing some lovely music right now, and that music is supplied to us by Sirenscape. Gasp. Whoa. They create awesome music and sound effects which you can play for your tabletop role-playing experiences. Go check them out. They are a load of fun. Another great way to augment your tabletop RPG experience is with Hero Forge. I'm going to say it right this week. Kieran, would you tell us a little bit more about that amazing product?
Absolutely. If you ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I had a really cool real life 3D representation of my character that I play in D&D, or maybe I play online and I think, well, real life is for suckers. I'd rather just have some sort of great little digital token. Have I got news for you? Check out heroforge.com. You can create your own custom miniature with all of its own weapons, its proper races. The weird little quirks and character traits that you have are representative through various little bags of gold and mimic chests and all sorts of crazy things. You can have any weapon you want. You can have any armor combination you want. You can have pretty much any color combination you want. Hero Forge will let you build it together through their incredible online builder, and then they'll generate a little token for you so you can play on like Roll20 or whatever Foundry VTT or whatever tabletop you've got. You will get little pictures, so you'll have a visual representation so you can show people like, hey, this is the really cool character I've been telling you about for 2 years that I'm really obsessed with and I love him and I would die for this character in real life. You can now show people what that person looks like instead of just sounding like a totally crazy D&D player like we all sound like all of the time. And if you want, you can even pay the money and they will 3D print off your little thing and they'll send it to you. And if you want, they'll even paint it. Or if you spend way too much money on Warhammer miniatures and you're like, what do I do with all this excess paint? You can paint it yourself. You got all kinds of options. They're great. You can see so much stuff. Check them out, heroforge.com. They've been our sponsor for this season and this season of The Scales Above. They are fantastic. We love them very much. Thank you, Hero Forge.
And thank you, Kieran. My goodness, come spiral with us into the world of minis, into the great consuming vortex. Another person who I want to thank is Brepai, who is the artist for this channel, has done some incredible work for characters, which I'm sure you've seen if you've been tuning into our streams. If you look behind me here, you can see the Wonders and Blunders crew, which they did an incredible job at. Links are below. Go check out their portfolio. And with that, let's introduce our players here tonight. Who are you? What do you do? Who are you playing tonight? We'll start with Josh.
Hi everybody, I'm Josh the Pirate, and I am playing Erwin, the crocodile hunter with a heart of lizard man bits, because he's a lizard man. I hadn't really thought that one through. He's a druid ranger who's deeply inspired by a cultural classic icon of Australia. If you like my face and voice, you can check out my other DMing work here on Roll for Damage, where on Monday nights I run Humblewood, and on Wednesday night this coming week I will be running the beautiful Shadow of the Brood Mother with some lovely fun people who might be on screen with me right now. That was super fun last week, and it'll be super fun again this week, I expect. I also am in the podcast There Be Dragons, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Skian, Phil Spa. So yeah, you could check me out there if you like.
Perfect. And Agent.
That's me. I'm Agent. You can find me at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AgentNumberOne, where I stream on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, playing a mix of strategy games and various variety games, new stuff, simulations, survival, strategy, all sorts of stuff. You can check me out there, and if you like more of my D&D dulcet tones, then you can check me out at Wonders and Blunders, where I play a giant lizard folk barbarian, theme of lizard folks tonight. And I also do all the music and sound effects over there, so check us out. We're real fun.
Love it. Thank you very much. And Sean.
Hey everybody, my name is Sean O'Donovan. I am from Paradise RPG. We do a weekly actual play stream every Monday night Eastern Standard Time, as well as some other variety programming throughout the week. I can typically be found on Roll for Damage playing Oryx Solaris in the Scales Above campaign. I'm currently playing a younger Oryx Solaris in Josh's two-shot that's happening on Wednesdays, so come check him out there. You can find me on social media at Odo_Sean. You can find Paradise at PARADICE RPG on all social media. Very excited to finish up with FOMO, climactic ending.
We hope.
We hope, yes.
And we have been joined in the past, but unfortunately she could not be here tonight. Shannon playing Ruby Red. But if you do want to check out some of her other stuff, be sure to watch the VODs of these past shows. Go over to Paradise RPG where you can find her, and also on the Scales Above. So we've been in this time loop for a little bit. Sean, do you want to catch everyone up on what happened on the last exciting episode of FOMO?
Happy to do so. We did a lot in the last session, actually, now that we knew what the situation we were dealing with was. So when we got into this next loop, our second loop of what's happening in Yarrum, we immediately got to action, and we got our good friend Gary to give us a tour of the catacombs beneath the city. It was here we found that there are these a whole bunch of crypts down below, which explains where all the zombies came from in the first episode. Through some psychedelic detect magic, Felix was able to determine that everything had this aura of conjuration magic, like whatever we were seeing was being conjured around us. Which, as we kept moving through these catacombs, we found out even more about that, as we very easily found a secret door and that led us down into what we had only heard about before, which was that there was an entire former city underground beneath this city. So we went down below, we found the ruins of this town, we heard some sounds, and we followed them, and that's where we found Waylon, the magister we've been trying to catch up with, doing some spooky things in front of a big pit, working with the book we're looking for. We confronted him, and through some key actions, some dispel magics from Ruby Red, we discovered that we kind of got a glimpse through the illusion, the conjuration around us, and saw what was most likely current Yarrum, where we saw a lich figure who had orcish features, studying the book. And then Ruby also cast a spell magic on the book to see if that would help break this person from what seemed to be some kind of all-encompassing enchantment, which just deleted a bunch of stuff from the book, essentially, which we found out as soon as this lich ripped the book in half, just like they did in the first one, and reset the loop. We discovered that she seemed to have deleted a bunch of people from this time loop, because as we started the next loop, there were significantly less people there enjoying the Festival of Endurance. So we had to kind of figure it out from there. Thankfully, none of our main characters seemed to be deleted. So we immediately found Timon, the half-elf, to try to teach him how to dance, because in our minds, we thought we get that vision we saw in the beginning of Timon and Layla dancing. We make that happen, we break the loop. So Ruby went immediately to start boosting Timon's confidence so that he can ask Layla to dance and learn to dance. And some of us went to follow Layla to see what she was doing, to listen in on her conversation with the Magister. And then through several actions, including convincing Layla to buy a nice dress, forcing Timon to be confident, we did get them to dance ultimately at the festival, but it wasn't enough and it wasn't real as Layla said, and then we saw cascading images as the rest of the scene played out. We essentially, I think, got to see what actually happened on that night, as we saw Timon's untimely death at the undead invasion as he fell to the ground, and Layla pledged herself to the pit in exchange for the power to save them all, which began this time loop. I think the only thing I missed was William and Felix's excursion down in the second loop, where we went and yeeted Waylon into the pit, got the book, and William decided, well, and he jumped into the pit and had a conversation with some horrible disembodied voice in the pit.
We don't
that,
know that.
Some kind
we
of
don't know
pit
that. Exactly.
fiend.
Exactly. I didn't know that.
He's just a disembodied voice that doesn't make him nasty or unpleasant.
That's true.
Honestly,
That's true.
seemed
They
like a
might
nice
be
guy.
great. Yeah,
I
they're the
got
real
some-
victim here.
We got some
Trapped in the
invaders
belly
of
of
the
a
body
city.
snatcher vibes, but you know,
Yeah.
Hey, let him go though.
yeah. Look, he seemed pretty down for whatever happened. To be honest, he was like,
Whatever
you
happens,
can either delete
happens.
everything, or maybe I become a lich. We don't know, and that's fine either way, really.
He's having fun. We're having fun. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
So
very entertained.
William did learn that this pit was hoping that this group would mess things up for Layla, seeming eager to get out and meet the new city which they are slowly drifting towards outside of the bubble.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Forgot about that part.
Ain't nothing bad gonna happen to that city.
I mean,
No.
we weren't sent here to protect that city.
No.
We're just here for a book.
Yeah,
we came for
exactly.
a book and very little else.
Very good. Thank you for that, Sean. I think you did a great job. I think that is everything that happened. So let's dive back in as you once again fall out of a white space and collapse onto the ground in a heap. The face of Gary suddenly appearing over the top of you again. Well, that's not something you see every day.
I'd be surprised how often you do see it.
Oh,
Any
I can
progress?
really- It's a pity. Let's get my accent right. It's a pity that you can't ask somebody who, like, you can't ask someone in the past to put a mattress out. Like, Gary, yesterday morning, can you put a mattress down here?
I don't quite think it works like
confused
that.
by your question.
Mate, I'm confused by my question. Oh, sorry. Right, so that didn't work.
I mean, we got them to dance though.
Yeah, I mean, well, that worked. Like, that worked, but it didn't stop anything. If anything,
it
it
sounds
just
like
pointed out to her how much that didn't happen.
I mean, I think that's maybe what perhaps that's what we thought was meant to happen, but couldn't be further from the truth, to be frankly.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I
So
think
what, do we
that's
need
what,
to...
I think that's what Layla's in her time looping is trying to make that happen, thinking it will be real, but it doesn't work.
But yeah, when it didn't happen, it didn't work, so...
So
I
maybe
knew
that
approach.
vision we saw is what she wants to happen, but
I mean, she keeps saying that she's trying to remember what occurred.
Can I ask quickly, the last time we ported back, we didn't see the vision?
The last time you came back, no, you didn't.
As in just now?
Just now, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Oh.
you didn't see the dance this time. You heard the music.
didn't we also not see the dance after Ruby deleted a bunch of names
Yes.
after the
Yeah.
spell? Okay. So
Oh,
the last
okay.
two loops we have not seen
Yeah.
the dance.
Jeez, maybe we just got to show her that all of the things didn't happen. That what happened to the city is what she caused. I mean, I don't know that she caused all of it, but You know,
I
she
don't-
definitely caused some of it, and it has them trapped here doing this over and over again.
I think she did it because she wanted to save them, but in fact, because it seems to me that it sounded rather like she was doing this to save them all from the undead invasion, but what she did caused the undead invasion.
I mean, by the
Did
sounds
it?
of it, the water. That's what the pit told me.
The water.
He said, he said, watch out for the rain.
The
Ah,
rain is the trigger. You know, every time it starts raining, we know we've only got, like
Yeah.
a couple minutes until it happens.
but that rain is very unusual, isn't it?
with the people
I mean, it
running
just looks
outside
like-
celebrating.
Well, it's a desert here.
And just at this point, you see Timon walk by behind you in a hurry, easy to spot through the even more spread out crowd
Now,
as he makes his way into the bar.
so we've lost more people.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to his shop and
Yep.
grab that flower.
Yeah,
Should we
okay.
still have Ruby teach him how to dance? And I guess I turn to, is Ruby still with us?
Yes, so Ruby is standing
boy.
there and she just has her arms crossed and she's looking around and just watching all of you spout these theories. And she just says, I'm sorry, okay? There's no time for this. I don't have time for this. Maybe you have all the time in the world to wait here and go through loop after loop after loop, but, and she pulls out this sort of snow globe looking thing that has somebody spouting poetic on a stage. And she says, for me, the show must go on. So, I'm sorry, I'm calling in my understudy. And then she smashes the globe. And as she does, she disappears, just erupting into like fanfare and lights and music.
Showboat.
And in her place is suddenly her understudy, Betsy Blue. And she's just standing there with a shocked look on her face.
Really? She's gonna leave us, and she's gonna leave us with you, Betsy. That's her plan.
You've met Ruby, right?
I mean, yes, I've met her. It's just a little disappointing, is all. You know, I'm shocked that they give the drama department this much funding. Frankly, with everything going on, we can't rub two pennies together to get another couple of books in the lit department. But
Hi, me chap. Isn't that right? And is kind of looking panicked around, like trying to guess the lines that she's supposed to be saying from each of you.
I'm gonna poke Betsy. Are you real? Are you some kind of construct? Are you created, or are you a real person? Were you trapped in that globe?
She like leans over to you and is like, I didn't get the script in advance. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
There's
Oh,
a
bastard.
nervous half-elf in that bar. You can go teach him to dance. That's your scene.
Oh, is this like dinner theater?
Yeah, it's a murder
a little
mystery.
bit.
Except the murder is the whole city.
Oh, okay. And she, makes her way shakily, kind of like walking past someone. And you see as she does, she walks past a person. And again, that person is not paying attention to any of you. But as they walk past, they get a little bit bumped. And you see their entire being, their clothing and everything ripple as if pages are being turned really quickly over them. And as they walk past, you can hear them saying, like mumbling under their breath, I meet Tavos at the bakery. I have to meet Tavos at the bakery. And walking past, kind of with this concentrated look on their face.
Odin comes back. I hope Ruby is gonna be isn't gonna be mean to Marcus, Lucy, or Sam, but I guess we got to keep going.
I mean, it's almost certainly that she will be, but
Those
frankly,
kids-
that's
those
their
kids don't
problem
deserve
right
that
now.
rage.
No, nobody does. These prima donnas, you know, they think the world revolves around them.
Well,
Speaking of worlds revolving around people, should we probably get an eye on where Layla is?
Owen comes
Yeah.
back holding the blue flower.
Yeah, so making your way back over to the shop, you do find that it's unlocked. It does take a little bit of looking around, but you actually find a back room behind the bar, or behind the counter, which Timon seems to live in. And in there, you see a little golden pot with that single flower and the plant that it came from growing out of it.
I take the entire thing, plant and all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not cutting the plant apart. No, this is all coming with me. I come out with it, like, quite conspicuously, like, but I do shield it from view if Timon comes out, but I believe he's learning to dance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and disrupt shit as much as possible, unless you guys have got a better idea. We tried making things fall into pattern. Now let's try making the opposite happen.
Well, I mean, what's...
Just seemed kind of like what that thing in the pit that created all of this in the first place wants to happen.
Well, I wonder if, because, you know, we saw when the conjuration was dispelled away temporarily, we did see modern contemporary city, and Layla is the lich. So she's just reliving this over and over and over again, playing out parts, trying to remember it all.
She wants to remember the truth. We thought we showed her the truth, but what we showed her didn't actually happen, so...
So why don't we go there and just show her the truth, dispel it, so she can see what's real?
Could try to talk to the... Could go try to talk to the lich again in the underground.
Well, she's the lich.
Well, that's
Why
what
don't
I
we
mean.
try talking to Layla?
Illusion Layla.
Well, memory Layla, but it's her, isn't it?
It must be, based on her reaction in our last loop.
Yeah.
Because she was the one who said, this isn't right, this didn't happen, and then it triggered the whole vision.
I'll
of
be
what
honest.
happened.
I think all of it's Layla.
No,
Yeah.
yes. Certainly.
It's just how we get through to her is a bit of a different question.
Yeah. But she's like the focal point. She's the point that if we can show her how it's not.
Felix is going to run over and grab Gary by the shoulders and start shaking him. And
Yeah.
go, Layla! Layla, can you hear me, man? Can you hear me? Are you in there?
Let go of me. You're confused.
It was a
I'll
good
kind of
try.
start to walk away and then turn back and Layla.
Are you looking for Layla? She usually, I mean, she's probably got her hands full with the festival.
All right. Thanks, Gary.
Of course.
Oh, well, that didn't work.
It's a nice try though. We're all swinging wild a bit here. Shall we?
Take a lesson from old wild card Gary there.
I know, right?
They do call me that.
Oh, we know. We know.
We know, Gary. Well, we're aware. Shall we go talk to Layla?
Let's see if we can track her down.
Or
Out of curiosity, do we know? We heard this person talking about the bakery. Do we know of a bakery in town?
No, you have not seen one, and there was not one on your map.
Okay, and we've never heard the name Tavos.
No.
No, okay.
my suspicion is, and this is Josh speaking, that was just a bit of fluff.
Bit of glitch as well.
My
maybe.
suspicion is that the bakery is outside of the city limits that are actually here. Because remember, the city goes far beyond what's floating.
Yeah, yeah. Well then, yeah, let's go check down.
Past the fog of war.
We know she's meeting with the Magister around this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can start there. We never really got a good hold of the book.
We could
If we're
trail
trying
the
to show
Magister
what
this time.
actually happened, the book may be the key.
So, did you guys say that you grabbed the book and then the hole said, too late?
Yeah. We
Could we
had
grab the book
got
earlier?
the book. How
Did we
about
read the book?
we?
Did we read the book last time?
We
We
did
went
not
through
read
all
the
that
book.
effort of getting the book, and we never opened it, did we?
Well,
No, you got
it,
rather
like, did-
fixated with a talking hole in the ground, in fairness.
Yeah. Also, like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then basically we came up from the hole and the city exploded at the same
Yeah,
time. So,
yeah, you
yeah,
had about
yeah.
5 seconds, yeah.
Jesus, let's go get the friggin' book then.
Should one of us go distract the Wayland so he doesn't walk in on the rest
No,
of you?
Wayland
while you get
has the book.
But he's talking
Yeah.
to her right now.
No, but he's got it on him.
Oh, it was on him.
Yeah, no.
Oh, then we
went
gotta
looking
ambush
for
him.
it last time, and he was there. So yeah, maybe ambush him. I know where he lives.
And we know
I
he
mean,
goes
I
to
could-
the under
Yeah.
passage to get the Undercity. So
Yeah.
let's ambush him.
All right.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
To the ambush.
And we can question
Alright.
him too before, see what he's actually
Betsy?
trying to do.
Betsy, your next line's over here, mate.
Yeah, and at that point, I think Timon comes bursting out of the
I hide
bar,
The plant. I hide the
kind
plant
of
under my
looking-
jacket.
frantic. And yeah, Betsy comes running out afterwards and is like, You're gonna do great! Timon, knock her dead! And Timon is like, Stop wasting my time! And then runs away.
I
Does
go,
Timon
Timon,
seem
Timon,
very
wait!
drunk?
You need this.
And he like skids to a stop and looks and he just, Where
We got
Where
you
did you
covered,
get
buddy. Go, go.
Thank you. And yeah, grabs the whole
Don't trust the
plant.
plants. Don't trust the plants. They're gonna tell where your secret place is.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Uh, ignore him. He's pulling your leg, but also plans are distrustworthy.
And he is like giving you all this, like he really wants to run. You can see him, he's in two minds. He's trying to run away, but he's just so hyper focused on you, and you can see that he's looking at you this time with a bit of recognition.
Oh.
And
Uh-oh.
you start to, the sounds of the city around you start to dull a bit. As you look around, every second or third person is stopping and looking at you, and they're
Yep.
just really looking at you. And he kind of shakes his head and says, I have to go. And he runs, and as soon as he leaves, everyone starts moving
snaps back.
regularly again.
Ah.
So maybe the better idea is to keep a bit of a low profile this time. Grab the
well,
book, figure out
yeah.
what actually happened, and then replicate that, or at least convince Layla of the truth.
Sure.
Oh, maybe the pit has him. I'm getting distracted. Let's go.
Yeah,
ambush
let's go
the-
and ambush a. Let's go and ambush a magister. That
Yeah,
sounds fun.
let's go set an ambush.
Okay.
So-
Sorry.
Where are we ambushing him? In the catacombs?
Oh, I was going to do it in his house.
Oh, even better. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, right, 'cause he's making tea.
See you, Gary.
And yeah, Gary's just like, have a good one.
Who has overheard this entire thing and never seems overly fussed about it.
No, he's always watching you just with a strange fascination. So you are going back to the Magister's house. So yet again, getting back there, you know the drill by now on how to get inside.
Yep.
So what are you going
Climb
to
through
set
the
up? You know
open
you
window.
have. You know you have a few minutes before he finishes his conversation with Layla and starts making his way back this way. What preparations would you like to make?
I look to Felix and say, is there any sort of knockout trap that you could construct with your technical skills?
Let me take a look.
Like he opens the door and something heavy drops on his head and knocks him out. I don't want to
Just
kill the guy,
paralyze
even if
him
he
and
has a
kill
memory.
him, turn him into a ghost. Ghost
Yeah, you
of
see,
ghost.
Not everything is solved by ghosts. All right, I'm sorry.
You'd be surprised at how many things can be solved by a ghost.
Can be solved. I'll give you that.
Now, while
Mostly
I do
problems
tinker with tinkering, most of my expertise is in alchemical natured things. I didn't major in that type of engineering when I went through school.
Like, how about a poison to put him to sleep?
Most of my potions tend to have more to do with helping others. That's what my
Yeah.
That's what my curriculum was mostly beneficial
help him
buffs.
sleep? Like if he's like got insomnia?
And you see, I start to like run through my potions that cast spells.
Right.
This one will make him real sick. This one will make it so he can only do a little bit of things, but he can still do things. This one will blow him up in a sphere of fire. This one will turn him into gas for a little bit.
Yeah, but presumably everything he's holding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one will levitate him.
Did we see him put down the book at any point?
Oh, this one will make him small.
All we need to do is,
I mean, I can't read a tiny book.
if I can grab the book from him.
Yeah.
You know,
so he comes in through the
stay
door,
hidden.
someone grabs the book, and then we turn him into gas and then make him tiny.
There you go.
We got it.
Love it.
When he's tiny, it'll be easy to just pick him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such
How
a terrible
small?
plan.
In no way is this going to work. Like, if you make him small, and then I can turn into, like, I can feed him to Terry.
He'll turn your average size of a gnome, I think is probably what will happen.
Yeah, Terry could eat a gnome, couldn't you, Terry?
It only lasts a
Nods
minute.
hungrily.
Yeah, well, by that point, he is inside a crocodile, right?
True, very true.
I don't know if you've ever been inside a crocodile for a minute. I have, but that's my wife.
So
I'm going to prepare an action for
Sorry,
when we
I'm
hear
tired.
him coming.
I'm gonna
put the door.
I'm gonna put droplets in my eyes for detect magic, just to see if there's anything we're not seeing inside his workshop.
Okay.
Ooh,
So, you in here, you don't see anything out of place, just that familiar conjuration tone, just sort of over everything.
Okay. Is there anything like that's like clearly magical that is not showing up as having magic on it? Like I imagine he's a magistrate, might have some bits and bobs there.
So not here. Like on this main floor, you're just kind of like in a foyer. There's a kitchen behind you. Downstairs, I think you've all been through there now. You know he does have like a magical sort of workshop.
I'd like to go there real quick just to see if things that ordinarily would be magical still show up as magical, or if they're part of the conjuration illusion.
Yeah. Okay. So run down and just make another Arcana check.
Got it. Okay. 22.
22. Okay. So you do see that there is a bunch of magic down here. Like he is brewing potions. He is doing some magical research. There are a couple of items and wands on the table, and they do glow with various schools of magic. And I think you get a pretty good idea that he has been experimenting on this book here.
Okay.
So you can also see that he has like a wand of dispel magic there.
I grab that.
And you can see that this wand is like it does glow with regular magic, but it is conjured. That just speaks to the level of complexity that this conjuration is.
Wow.
Like it is a bit mind-shaking that you existing in this area could use magic items created in here. Like the possibilities of magic item creation just blow you away.
It's all a simulation. I'm gonna grab that wand and dispel magic.
Wake up,
though.
Felix. Wake up.
Oh no!
Is there two pills on the table, a red and a blue?
Oh,
perhaps?
God.
One turns you into a misogynist. Be careful. Sorry.
Oh man, I've seen this play
That was
before.
excellent. Well done.
That was good. I am gonna grab the wand to dispel magic though. Bring it with us.
Okay. And I think like as you're coming back up over the stairs, looking at the wand, you hear like a key going into the front door.
I'm gonna turn myself invisible.
I take out my book of poems and I say, "Tread lightly, she is near under the snow. Speak gently, she can hear the daisies grow. And I will cast greater invisibility."
Oh.
I love the difference between William, like, reading beautiful prose to cast his spells, and Felix, who's shifting through a fanny pack and chugs a potion.
And Erwin will turn into a small snake.
No one will ever expect us.
So, the door opens and you hear the grumbling Magister make his way in. Everybody just make a stealth check. Those who are, I'll say everybody do it with advantage. Small snake and 2 invisible people.
26.
Nice.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Or 27.
wow.
The 25.
Wow, we just rolled
25.
19, 19, and 20 on the rolls.
I also got a crit
Amazing.
fail as my disadvantage, but yeah, sure.
So the Magister comes in and just walks right past the group of you. Again, you can hear him just muttering that so short-sighted. This could help us. It could undo all the mistakes that we've created. And he immediately just starts making his way downstairs.
Sure. So there was a plan to possibly
Jump him.
Yeah.
Want to jump him?
Yeah, I believe so.
God, I do believe that was the plan.
Someone's
hoping
got to
maybe
grab
we would just
the
have an
books.
opportunity to grab the book. Yeah, I was going to grab
Yeah.
the book because I was turning greater invisible and I can
was
not just appear. Did he have the book in his hand or was it in his cloak?
So it was in his cloak, but as soon as he came inside, as he was grumbling, he took it back out. So it is in one hand as he's making his way towards the stairs.
Can I make like a spooky dash across and try to grab the book en route? Do I have Mage Hand? I do have Mage Hand, and it's not concentration. Can I ghost Mage Hand the book out of his hand?
Okay. What are the others doing as he makes his way in?
I am going
to-
to. You go, mate.
I'm gonna grab another potion and get ready to throw it in his eyes, and I'm gonna cast Reduce on him as soon as the book's out of his hands.
Okay.
If he struggles at all, I'm getting ready to bite him on the ankle.
Okay.
Sort of like oh no, someone's stealing. Ah, my foot. Yeah, like.
Deadly snake
Okay,
venom.
So I guess it would be either sleight of hand or arcana.
I'll take Arcana if I can. They're both pretty similar, but
I would say, yeah, like trying to twist this spell. Well, I think actually what this is it's a spell attack. So just make a spell attack.
make a spell attack. Okay, +7.
You would have advantage if it's a spell attack because you're invisible.
Would I?
Well, technically, I mean, it's a weird situation.
I
He
mean,
is
this
not
is- that's
expecting
me.
it. Yeah,
Asking the DM, can I?
I think you can. You just
That's a
roll
D12, not a
there.
D20.
It's
But
very
it is
good.
All right.
really good.
How do I roll dice?
I mean, heck, it's better than what you rolled.
Oh, 16 on the roll.
Okay.
I'd take the 12.
D12, yeah, I did pretty good on that D12.
So as he walks, like his hand drifts backwards a little bit, like holding a bit of resistance, but his hand slips off the book as he just kind of looks and then swings around to see it floating. And
Yeah, and I get he would see the banshee just kind of appear with like a and then vanish holding, but like still holding the book as I try to start bringing the book towards me.
And then
Okay.
Felix will show up out of nowhere and toss
Ah!
some mysterious liquid in his face.
Okay. So
it's a
does
con
anybody
saving
save?
throw.
Con save.
Yeah,
okay.
con save. 17 is the DC.
This guy's getting
17.
Scooby-Doo ambushed right now.
Oh, he's a wizard. He does not have +2. So he's getting reduced.
Yeah, so he shrinks from medium to small until the spell ends. He's disadvantaged on strength checks and strength saving throws. His weapons also shrink to match his new size.
He's a gnome.
He's
Not
well,
now.
I say size of the gnome. He shifts to because he goes from medium to small.
But is he a gnome?
and
already?
No, he's a human.
No.
Oh, okay, Darren. I thought we were gonna.
If he
get
was a
tiny-
gnome
tiny
already, then we got a
magister.
tiny little boy. The funny, and then like if he attacks us, deals 1d4 less damage.
Okay.
And then I grapple him with my snake-like coils.
Amazing. Okay. So he's gonna roll acrobatics. Because his acrobatics are slightly better.
You'd also have disadvantage if
and-
he did. Wait, is acrobatics strength or dex?
Dex.
Cool.
Yeah. He's not a very strong guy, but he only rolls a 5, which is a 7 total. Oh, and he beats it.
I mean,
Oh no!
it's equals. I rolled a 2.
Right, yeah.
I
he
am a
rolled
very
5,
small
but he gets
snake.
a +2. So yeah, the little snake starts wrapping around him, and he just kind of steps out of it and looks up and is like, "Well, very interesting. What is this all about?"
I'm gonna try to grab him now. Felix is bad at strength.
We do not. We do not have a good plan going into this at all.
So that's a
Hey.
9 total.
Hey.
There we go. Even with my -1.
So
Please do not struggle. I do not want to hurt you. I don't like
let me go.
violence.
You have no idea what you're meddling with. Let common robbers making your way into my home. I am the magister of this city, and I will see you burned for this.
Wow.
It's pretty extreme for a little man who's caught in my arms.
No, I'm
I'm
only
gonna
little
start.
because of you.
I'm gonna start. Do I even have rope? I didn't check my. Yep, I do have rope. I will start tying his hands together,
Okay.
Make him quiet. Gag
and
him.
I will shove some cloth in his mouth
Okay.
till we're ready to talk to him.
Hey,
Man, I could have turned you into gas. I could have turned you into gas, but it turned you little. And then you see he would, because I imagine a minute would go by pretty quickly if he would
Yeah.
go back to normal size.
Owen would
So-
turn back into himself and look at the floating book and say, "You going to read that, or are you just going to hold it there?"
Yeah, I think the book would kind of float over to where I am, and then you would just see the book disappear. But seeing that the wizard has been hogtied, William would form back in, and you're like, terribly sorry about this, but you don't really exist, so I don't really feel too bad. We just got to borrow this book for a brief moment before we take it forever, and crack open the book and
Make an
Read.
intelligence save.
read.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
good.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I should have given you guidance.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
That's a
Uh-oh.
7. Does this thing work for ability checks? This is not an ability check. This is an ability save, so I can't do anything. All right, yeah, that's a 7. That's all I get.
So you open the book, and I guess it is looking kind of ethereal as it is existing in this invisible plane with you. The pages are empty at first, and then they start to fill up. You realize that the pages aren't empty, but what you thought was like the grain of the paper itself is just minute writing.
Oh,
And
Whoa.
trying
Wow.
to get closer and closer to what this writing is saying, you start to see that there are symbols on top of symbols, almost creating a picture in your mind. And it, as you think and as you try to latch on to one idea, it just swirls to another and swirls to another. And you start to feel your own memories starting to appear on the pages. And it feels like you are giving this information over to this book.
This isn't what we're... I don't want to read any of this. This isn't what we're looking for. I don't need to know about things that I already know. I need to know what happened here. It's gibberish.
What's
I just
going on?
yell up. It's just, and I think you see William like slam the book close and kind of squint his eyes heavily. Say, but it's not telling me anything useful. It's pretty much just telling me stories about the past. It's almost indecipherable, and I think, yeah, I would throw it to Felix.
Felix will catch it. Does it seem obvious that the book had an effect on William, or is that probably not obvious?
He seems
It
upset
is-
and he loved books.
Yeah.
He loved books.
But
All
I
right,
think
well-
you do feel, William, that a few of those poems, your well memorized poems, are dripping away from your mind. And
Ooh.
a few people who you studied with and who you traveled with, their names are gone. People who you used to think about all the time.
No.
Yeah,
And
so
it
I think
feels
you would
like-
definitely see like William starting to kind of like rub his temple and look
Okay.
fairly distraught.
I would like to drink a quick tincture of guidance on myself, and then I'm gonna open the book.
Make an intelligence save.
Wait, does guidance affect saves? It does not. All right, intelligence. Oops.
Oof. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna just in case, just to try to get higher, even though that might be fine. I'm gonna use a luck point just to roll a second one. 'Cause
Okay.
I just remembered I have the lucky feat.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That's a bit better.
Nice. All right, I'm
Very
gonna go up to
nice.
26.
Ooh.
okay. So
Jesus.
at first, you do start to feel some of your memories being sucked onto the pages.
Whoa.
But taking a second and reeling back, you start to feel the sort of shift and glide. I think even relaxing into it, you're able to sort of surf this information wave that is coming at you. What do you want to know?
I want to see if I can isolate either William's lost memories into it. If I guess I don't have knowledge of that.
You would,
so,
yeah, you wouldn't know that they're gone.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
know
don't even
because you
think
didn't say
William
that.
knows that they're gone.
Yeah, you
yet,
wouldn't either.
really.
Yeah, it just feel weird. Okay, yeah, then
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look for Layla's memories in it, to see if I can find like the perfect memory of like what happened that night.
Okay. So you are holding on to this book and you're reading the pages and they start to flip quickly. You can see that the area of the book that you just kind of randomly opened up into is telling you stories of things that happened thousands of years ago. You're quickly flipping through different eras. You see like the rise of the Elven Empire. You see a red dragon leading an army towards one of their cities, and then a snap to the death waste glassed over. You see the evolution of the magical creatures and like the sort of beauty that most people see as just pure danger as they make the death waste their own. And then you see Yarrum, and you watch Layla's kind of life go by. You see her training to be one of Ilmater's paladins. You see her year after year taking this chance at the festival to really prove her worth to Ilmater, really dedicating herself to the god rather than to the people who she's there with. And you can feel her, as the years go by, you can feel sort of a growing loneliness in her as it just becomes her and her work. And then this one year pops out, much more vivid than the rest, now in real color, as if you're standing there, of that moment with Timon and the rose standing by the dressmaker as he asks her to the ball that night. And for the first time in her memory, that becomes more important than proving her worth to her god. as you watch the rest of it unfold, her standing there watching the city get taken by the ghouls as she runs down to where surely the Magister has done something terrible, and seeing him lying there with the book, you see that deal get made again. Her looking at Timon's broken body that has fallen through this hole, and her saying, if you're here to help, give me the power to save them, and I'll do whatever you want. But before, when you watched her form link up with the Lich, it skipped a lot of time. And now what you're seeing is that lost time. That time of Layla standing, walking through the city over and over again, watching everybody's movements and cataloging them into this book carefully over and over again. And every time she gets to that point of Timon, she starts to break, and a little bit more of her gives in to that necrotic lich energy until she fabricates the two of them dancing together. It gives her the control that she needs, these last human memories that she has before becoming what she is. And it is the only thing stopping her. So over these 600 years, all of the periphery of that, first it was a week before, and then just a couple of days, and now it's just come down to those last few hours, the last things that she can remember of being human, writing them down endlessly in this book and playing them over and over to try to hold on to what shreds are left.
Okay. And these memories, when they're written into the book, they seem to, or when they're like permanently inked into the book, they leave the person. So she's lost everything but this 2 hours. And the more she relives it, eventually, like the rest of the memories, they'll permanently be in the book and out of her. And she'll just be this lich that serves the pit.
Yeah.
Seemingly. Okay. All right. I would, a bit overwhelmed by the entirety of it, Felix will slam the book shut and be like, oh man, whole life wasted.
Wasted?
I'll relay everything I saw to them now. Say, oh, she's losing everything to this book, all her memories. We were right. She did make up that one last memory. These are the last 2 hours she has left of her memory.
Oh, it's a sort of a decaying loop, eh?
And once it's all gone, she is gone. And it's just the lich.
And that's not good.
I don't think so, especially for that city we're nearby.
I mean, if she descends into madness, this is a powerful lich to create a place like this.
I'll hold up the wand of Dispel Magic. This is real. This can actually do magic. She's creating whole cloth within this loop. Effective, not just illusion. That's why it's all conjuration.
I wonder if it would work outside.
I think it'll disappear as soon as we leave or the loop ends.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
The threat of the lich is always that the magic kind of consumes their mind over time.
Yeah.
It's the insanity of the lich that's really the problem. Them existing on their own, I mean, it's not a great thing, don't get me wrong. It is an abuse of power, but they're not necessarily evil at their core. They just degrade.
So, what's the go here, Felix? What do you think? We've got a. May I hang on? I removed the gag from the mouth of the Magister and say, "What do you see in the book?"
And he is slack-jawed as Felix is explaining this. Like, when you take the gag off his mouth, he is not cursing and swearing at you. His mouth stays open like the gag is still in it. And he says, I only saw one thing, and it was... I can only use it next to that pit.
What could you see?
I saw writing, like something was talking to me, telling me that it could help. It seemed to know. I caused a lot of problems in this town due to my greed. People died because of me. It said it could fix all that. It said it could undo what I did.
What was the cost?
It didn't say one. I was going to discuss it. I was on my way there now to talk to it, to undo it.
Why do you believe a giant hole in the ground?
Well, I don't know if I do. That's why I wanted Layla and her power to help me. I'm quite skilled in the arcane, but not with things such as this.
Sure. How powerful is Layla? You think Layla could control it?
I think she could scare it, depending on what it is. She does that quite handily with most people, and
yeah, but most people aren't a hole in the ground that can talk and
stay alive for 700,000 years or however long this has been. Whatever's down there is a power that's, I think, well beyond. Well, the faculty might be able to contain it, but that's with the modern advances of magic. Things like Felix over here. I can't imagine whatever they were dealing with here in dusty old tomes and scrolls. It's not quite as strong as it is in our time.
Magister, given what Felix here has related, what do you have any insights? You seemed a bit dumbstruck there. You understand we're not here to hurt you, we're here to help. Do you know what's going on? Are you aware that you are basically a memory trapped within the last few hours of your own life?
No. It's nothing like what I saw. It can't be true. It feels... Everything feels...
Oh, it's real. Yeah, it's real.
Hey.
The deal Layla made with the pit was that she could save you all, and I think she has. But,
Can you make a persuasion check for me?
Sure, I'm good at those. I'm actually not bad at those. Persuasion. I am proficient. Yeah, 22.
22. As you're saying this to him, he just starts looking at his hands and really concentrating and thinking. And as he does, you start to see his skin, his clothes start to ripple like pages. And he, for a second, stops afraid and then doubles down and concentrates harder. And you start to see those pages start ripping away and fluttering into the house around him. Now you're just surrounded by this storm of pages, all of them infinitely written on with just incredible complexity, until they clear, and he is standing there floating just above the ground, ethereal, just a spirit.
Neat.
Huh.
Oh no.
Well, that's gonna cause some problems for sure.
Yeah, that'll be my bad, sorry.
Waylon, can you hear me?
Yes. Hundreds of years.
Yeah.
We've been here hundreds of years.
Yeah. You're not just a memory, friend. You're trapped.
Oh no, it's gonna eat their souls, isn't it?
It's an necromancer.
You can see the banshee around William begin to form, and instead of rushing forward and screamingness like she normally does, she just calmly kind of floats towards the Magister, reaches out and very calmly, like you've never seen, puts her hand on his face, has a tender moment, and kind of just dissipates past through him.
And his face is just racked with sadness as he's just looking down. Like, now these pages, as they hit the ground, just start to meld into the surroundings around you. And he says, we have to stop this.
Yeah.
Do you know anything that could help in this state? I mean, your mind is free for a moment. This is all going to end in a few hours. You'll be back in the page.
And he says, I'm sorry. I remember now, but it was just the same every time. We walked through. I can remember it like it was today, but every day we walk the same path, all of us together. And it feels like my decisions, but now I know it is not.
No, it was your decision. It was just your decision again and again and again and again. Don't let this take away from who you are.
I was.
Well. But you have a chance now. You can help us fix this. Help us do something good for these people.
What do you want me to do?
Well, you're the Magister. You've spent a lot of time with the book and the pit.
I've made the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah, and now you can help fix it.
I mean, we need to show Layla what really happened. The things that she is blocking out.
Well, she needs to know that she can't undo it, and that she's keeping all these people trapped here from their resting place.
She was a paladin of Ilmater, right?
Yes.
Presumably that's quite important to her? This is a paladins don't become liches sort of situation. It's a betrayal of everything she swore to uphold. I imagine Ilmater has some fairly strong words to say on the subject of eternal life and liches and so forth. Enduring doesn't mean undeath.
Do you think she knows what she's done?
I don't think
Or
so.
do you think-
I think we should point it out to her.
She thinks she still saved them, not damned them.
Yeah. And now we have proof. How long have we got?
And I think at this point you would know that you've got about 20 minutes.
Well,
We
Magister.
kind of hear like the pitter patter of the rain starting outside.
What do we even do, though? The thing is, that's not Layla. It's
But
the
it's it's a memory of her, but that's all that there is right now. Where would the lich be?
Well, she's going to go to the pit.
The
This
lich
is it,
is
the
in the center of town. Whenever we go down there, when we dispelled the magic around it, the lich was above us. She's in the center of town, above it. So.
Well, then let's go to the center of town and dispel magic above the pit.
Yes.
Magister,
Okay.
would you care to go for a one final choice-making saunter?
I will do whatever I can to free us.
Good on you, mate. Come on, Terry. And we go.
Okay. So you're gonna go back down to the Undercity,
the-
back to the pit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we're gonna dispel everything around it to try to get to the lich.
So running your way down the stairs back into the giant cave, Waylon making his way through, and you can see him like continuously landing on the ground and walking his old steps and then shaking himself away. But as he makes his way through, those torches light around him, as they did when he made his way down here before.
So you do respond to him
Yeah.
still. Okay.
Pardon me, guys. I'm just gonna have to duck out for just a second. I can hear a puppy in distress and like pain
no.
distress. So
Oh,
I can hear a little puppy bark.
yeah.
Little puppy barks. I'm thinking that because we haven't really changed the path, that Timid should also still, in theory, come crashing down through this hole as well. So on top of having a ghost to be like, we've got us stuck. Here's the ghost. Here's the proof that you didn't save them. He's dead. But we can also kind of be like, look, Timid is also down here. This is what happened. This is what you're refusing to see. And he's already dead. You can't save him.
Yeah.
And hope the lich listens to reason.
I know, right? It's like
This seems like a hard bargain. Hard bargain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're everything you would have hated in life right now.
Yeah.
Except
And to clarify, Ilmater, I know we said this in the first episode, Ilmater is the goddess of like endurance.
The god of endurance, yeah.
God of endurance. Okay. Is there any other like domains under Ilmater, or is that like the primary one?
Yeah, Ilmater is kind of like people pray to Ilmater when their loved ones have like an enduring sickness. He is about like healing and making it through in the long run. That type of endurance, not just like pain for the sake of pain, but
yeah,
Right.
we can survive this.
Right.
fortitude.
Yeah.
So I mean, I bet a good angle approaching her is to be like, you've endured so much, you can stop now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the idea of playing the Ilmater angle and leaning into that is a good thing that might like push well towards her.
Okay.
We're just talking out the plan. You didn't miss much.
yeah, cool. So I just had to relocate a dog's knee.
Oh no.
Yeah, she
Poor pup.
she stacked it off a couch, and she has shitty knees. She's like her dad, and yeah. So I just had to pop your kneecap back in, didn't I? Yeah. Lucky I know how to do that because I've done it for myself a few times. So she's gonna sit with Daddy for a while.
Yeah.
She's being real sooky now, but it probably really hurt. Anyway, let's continue. That was fun. Yeah, good girl.
Okay.
So, yeah, you step back in, the torches are lit. You are standing at the edge of the pit.
Any sign of the lich?
Nothing here right now, no.
See, this is it. I think Layla's. I think we've got to show Layla.
Oh no! I mean, she's there. We know she's there. We've tried this before, and I just pick up a rock on the ground and just like wing it to where I punched the lich before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
just
sorry.
a small rock, just to like bonk it off of her.
Yeah, and it does
Monk.
toss into that area and then bonk and then fall down into the pit.
I'm gonna use the wand of dispel magic.
Hey.
Try to replicate how Ruby did it, because I know that she kind of technically cast it on herself, and I kind of want to try to do that for the three of us so that we can see the lich.
Okay. So casting, yeah, I think when you're trying to find like a target for it, you find that you are able to just kind of target this conjuration that is around you now that you sort of know that it exists. And for a second, yeah, the world around you starts to shift, those pages folding back, creating this portal with the lich floating over the pit. Deep in the book. You also notice now that the world around you, these vines that have grown through this entire area, you see yourselves, your clothes and your skin are shredded from having walked just casually through these vines over and over and over again.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
And that
Interesting.
pain and exhaustion of it hits you all at once as this goes away. This
Damn.
Oh, mate.
much longer in here, this conjuration will be the only thing sustaining you.
Great.
Oh no, we'll become paper also.
Layla.
And she's floating there with the book and then turns towards you. Leave me alone. I'm busy.
You can't save them, Layla.
I can. You don't
No,
know what you're
Layla,
talking
look.
about.
You can't. It's Waylon, look. And I show her Waylon.
And Waylon flies up next to her, and he says, I'm so sorry. This is my fault. You are fixing my mistake, but you couldn't do it. We were tricked. But you have to let us go. We're dead, Layla, and you're keeping us here.
Is this what Ilmater would want? Is this what Timon would want?
I would say make another persuasion check.
I'm gonna cast Fly on myself,
Okay.
and I want to while Erwin was talking,
Damn it.
I want to fly up until I'm in front of Layla, if possible.
Okay. So
But
that's
I'll
an
let you
8 on the
resolve
persuasion.
the persuasion roll.
It's a dodgy, doggy shit persuasion roll.
So she turns and is like looking at you, and you see her hand start to drift away from the book. As it does, the world starts to flutter. You can see up through the hole to the above the city. You see that there is a building that you're looking at through that hole. It starts to collapse into pages, just swirling about above as more of these vines start to become visible. And as you are flying out over the pit, Felix, make a dex save.
Oh dear.
Oh, the
If I can get the
collapsing.
pit. Oh no.
I'm gonna use a luck point. I'm using a luck point.
Okay.
But thank you. No,
Solid
thank you.
usage of a luck point there.
15.
15. So you are floating over the pit, and you start to feel the crumbling from above.
Oh wait! I use a reaction because I forgot I'm an artificer to use Flash of Genius to add +5 to the roll.
+5, so that makes it a 20.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So from above, it starts to fall towards you. But as this boulder is about to hit you, as you're moving out of the way, it just dissolves into pages, and it is
Nice.
pages that are just moving past your body.
Paper cuts.
The thing you need to dodge is as the papers move, you see and hear chains rattling up from the inside of the pit.
Yeah.
And you're able to move backwards, but they wrap around Waylon and start pulling him down. And all of you hear in your minds again, he made his deal. So did she. And they'll live in it. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. And she... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
All I'm gonna like as I'm pushing towards her, I just want to try to speak out to her through this, like in my head, like trying to talk while someone's like penetrating your mind. Just say to her, "You've endured so much. You don't have to do this anymore. You know the truth. You've seen it now. You're feeding him down there." And I'm gonna try to open the book up, the one I have,
Okay.
to try to go to the pages that are her life, and like just like hold it out to her to see if that does anything.
Okay. So Waylon is just getting brought back down into the pit. You are like struggling now to open this book. As you can see, she is holding it, and it seems like both of them existing together. It's kind of a clash of wills right now to see who can actually use it. Erwin and William, what are you doing at this point?
Did this, because this is the collapsing building that's kind of collapsed before and sent things through. Did Timon fall down with this building? Or do I know that timelinically he is going to fall down in a minute?
So he is going to fall down. You can hear above the cries of the undead, like moving around from above, but now they're like distant and ghostly and haunting. This is quite a different scene from what you've seen before. But as those papers are clearing, you know that like Timon is among the things that are going to fall down from above.
I want to position myself to where he falls so that he can fall next to me and I can then yell.
Okay. And Erwin, what would you like to do?
Erwin is... What do I know of Ilmater? Like, what is my religious knowledge?
Make a religion check.
Yeah, great.
We talked briefly about this while you put your dog's kneecap back in. We know that he is the god of endurance, but about like surviving illnesses through fortitude and the like.
Sure. That would be all I know then, with a 4.
I think so.
I would probably just continue my tirade at because I don't think I have anything that can help the Magister, and he, in fairness, he did make that deal. Like,
I don't think any of us tried to stop that at all. We were all like, yeah. You got chained. You got ghost chained. See you later, buddy. Thanks for the help.
Thanks for coming. I mean, I'm seriously tempted to try and knock the pit down, but I don't want to escalate things any further yet.
Okay.
So, I would be continuing to utilize my, this is not, I would be saying, Layla, this is not Ilmater's way. You're supposed to endure things through fortitude, not magic.
Okay. And, Felix, you can make basically a spell attack as well to try to overcome Layla in this. And Felix, William, you see Timon starting to fall now.
And sorry, go ahead, Sean.
I'm just gonna use my last luck point to re-roll that.
Okay.
What a good thing to have on a 2-hour loop.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
I know.
25.
25, okay. William, you see Felix falling. Or you see, Timon falling.
Timon falling, yeah.
Yeah.
The moment he sees him, just yells out like, "Look, Layla, look, you can't stop it. You can't stop what happens to Timon. You can't stop what happens to anybody in this city. The only thing you're doing is keeping them here, making them live this again. Slam, and again, and again."
So with that, both of you crying out at her, Waylon getting dragged down with the chains, Felix, you see her concentration break, and she looks to Timon with that crack as he hits the ground, and on cue, as he hits, the entire illusion disappears. All of the conjuration. You are now standing up to your chest in these vines. William, you are standing over Timon's skeleton.
Ooh.
And you can see that from in between his ribs is where these vines are coming from. Oh. They are growing out from his skeleton, these beautiful blue flowers growing off of the vines and springing up through the city.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was going to ask if the flower was still blooming there.
Yeah.
All the flowers throughout the entire city.
Oh, that one plant. I'm really glad I didn't take that.
That takes like a lifetime to grow one flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is. Oh.
It's good. It's good.
And I think maybe we'll go on our break there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Leave that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, well, yeah, we'll go for a break and we'll be back in 5 to 10. Chad, if you're enjoying, chuck it out. Chuck us your favorite bits and tell us what you like a lot. We'll be back soon. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back after the break. Thank you, the Welcome In, for coming in with a big raiding party. Thank you so much for coming to join us.
Welcome.
Let's give you a quick recap on what's been going on, because it's pretty wild. So this group is trapped in a Groundhog Day time loop by a lich inside of a floating city. Just before the break, they had managed to show the lich the true reality of her situation. She has been reliving her last human moments over and over again with a book that grants her unnatural memories. And the party has just shown her that sort of her burgeoning love has just died, which was the incident that made her make a deal with something deep in a pit, which is currently threatening the party a little bit. And gave her the power to save them, as in save their memories inside of a book forever, torturing their ghosts to a constant existence of reliving the past few hours of their lives. The party is now standing over the skeleton of said lost love, with vines shooting from his skeleton, growing beautiful blue flowers. And you see now, Felix, that you have cracked this book open. That the book in Layla's hand has disappeared. That in this reality now there is only one book, and you are holding it.
Great.
All right. And I'm technically lying right in front of her.
Yes.
Because I cast fly. Okay. Oh boy. What is she like? What is the behavior of her right now as she's floating there?
So she is floating and she is staring dumbfounded down at William. Just staring at that skeleton, at these blue flowers. And as she looks at the flowers, which are reaching up into the city above, now all of that illusion is gone. The houses are dilapidated and collapsed and destroyed and twisted in these vines. And as she looks up at these flowers, she lowers her hood, and you see the full desiccated face of this half-orc lich. The only sprig of color coming from her undead form is that one blue flower tucked behind her ear.
This is what you were trying to remember. This is what you wanted to stop happening. But you didn't stop it. You happened and caused it to happen over and over again in their memories. Whatever is down there did this to you. Whatever is down there did this to the city, not you. Not the Magister.
He was manipulated.
Is the Magister still hanging there?
The Magister is gone. He got dragged into...
He got changed.
I thought of something that actually might have been able to save him, but no, it's fine. I have a spirit totem.
Whatever is down there is just feeding on this.
Yeah.
Growing in power.
And we just fed it a Magister.
I'm gonna close up the book, and kind of put it away. Come down with us. Pay your respects. We can figure out what to do next.
She does. She sort of starts drifting past you. But as she goes, she says, I know that I can't save them. But everyone else outside, I can. As long as I remember who I am. And then her head is kind of twisting and moving back and forth. Her jaw starts to gyrate as sort of magical energy starts to crackle around the outside of her. This monster that I have become, it will kill. It wants to kill. I have to remember. and then she is going to lunge at you and try to take the book.
No.
Oh no!
Oh no. Felix rips the book in half to start the loop over. No. Just kidding.
So I will give you an action as she like lunges forward, like her mouth agape. She has a 23 to beat if you're just going to try to pull it away from her. I'll give you one action as she's like lunging towards you.
Okay, let me see if I have anything that could help here.
Looking at my spells and just being like, ah, yes, right. All of my spells do not work on the undead.
No.
Every one of them does not work
I've
on
got
undead.
a lot of stuff for dealing with animals and birds and plants. Fucking nothing for the undead.
If I have an action, then what I'm going to do is she lunges towards me. Is I'm going to. Do I have the spell slot for it? I do, thankfully. I'm going to cast Gaseous Form, transform a willing creature you touch, including myself, along with everything it's wearing and carrying, turns into a misty cloud, and then I'm just going to move through her, and towards my friends.
Nice. Okay. And with that, she is just furious now. Like this energy starting to crackle around her as you sort of puff through her. You can all roll initiative.
Great.
God. Oh God.
Where's that?
All right, so do we just roll a d20 and then
Add initiative, yeah.
add
Yeah.
initiative? Cool.
I got a 12.
12.
7 plus 9.
9.
I got a 16.
16. Okay.
But like, my thoughts on what to do here are like,
Oh, Felix is tragically
Trying to peacefully
wants
talk
to
her
save
down.
this woman's life.
Yeah.
So, Felix, it is actually your turn first.
All right. All right. So, have I reached my companions at the start
Yes.
of this? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Even though. No, I'll drop gaseous form, even though it lasts an hour. So I'll drop that so I recorporealize. Maybe not, because I think we might
no, I think
start the
keep it.
loop. If-
I think definitely keep it
Okay.
up, mate.
Yeah, I'll stay
Your decision.
incorporeal. No, I'll stay incorporeal. I just wanted to be able to hold the book out to her. No, I'm still gas. All right. So I'm a gaseous cloud, but I'm going to yell at her. So I just want to yell out to her and say, Layla, it's all here. All of it is here. Who you were, who you are, who you can still be. You just need to reclaim it from the book. Take it back from the pit, and you can be you again.
And yeah, she just is at this point kind of trying to hold it together, but you can see like she is lunging towards you, like her claws now sort of coming towards your gaseous form, ripping through it every once in a while as she moves forward, and she just says, "What I am is lost. I am a monster. Let me remember and save those who can still be saved. I can endure this." And that would be, or is there anything else you want to do, Felix?
I'm just gonna end my turn with just saying, you can't endure it. You are already failing. Weeks of time and we lost. Till just these last 2 hours. And I'll end my turn.
So that makes it William.
I am likewise going to spend my turn talking, trying to convince her, as William just says, This isn't the kind of thing that Ilmater would want. You're not a monster. You can push through this. You don't have to be the thing that it is. It's corrupted you, but you are a paladin. You can push through. You can be who you want, or you can choose to end this yourself.
Okay.
And yeah, it takes no other action other than and kind of staying by Tim and the flowers, probably down, kind of like kneeling by his corpse.
Okay. Erwin.
Okay. Grand. Owen is going to cast Speak with Plants to talk to the rose. Talk to the vines, and he would ask the vines, what was Timon's most heartfelt dream?
And they sort of like moving towards you, all of the flowers kind of turning, all of them at once turning to look at you. And we're here, built to last, to hold them, to keep them, to make sure that they're never alone. And a few of the vines start to like move a little bit, and as they do, it reveals more skeletons, each one of them of the townspeople cradled with bushels of flowers around each of them.
It's not super useful information.
Oh, I disagree.
Fascinating, but I go, Layla, Timon's already saved them. Look at the vines.
Okay. So all of you can roll persuasion.
Like, we're like, we don't want to fight this lich. We love this lich.
None of us are capable of.
He had such a hard life.
Oh, rough.
And as soon as she started to
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, no.
Well,
11.
guess we're going into the pit.
8.
Oh, God.
7.
So
I have no luck points left.
2 plus 6s, and the best we've gotten is an 11.
I'm going to use Flash of Genius just to add 5 to that, just because I've got some left. So
does this
13?
13?
Actually, no, I'm going to use it to add it to, because I can actually add it to anyone's. So I'm going to use it to add it to Erwin's to give it a 16.
16.
Okay.
Does this count as a ability check, or is an ability check just a flat ability check? Because this is a skill.
This is a skill check.
Is a skill check.
Pact of the Talisman is not good. You almost never get to use it. It's only on flat ability checks.
I was super excited when it came out, and I was like, I mean, actually, technically, well, because whenever you see a skill check listed, it's always listed as like strength, ability check, and then parentheses, athletics.
Yeah.
We can make it what you thought you took, regardless.
Yeah,
I think it would be though. That
well,
makes
just
a valid point, Sean.
It gives me the option to add a D4.
So to yours.
Oh,
my
I hear my
ability
size. Oh, nope, I lost that guidance. My turned into a puff of smoke.
If you let me do it,
Wait.
it makes my check not much better. It makes my
Okay.
check 11. Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
So, but there is a 16. Layla like lunges towards the group of you. As she moves, her hand claws across Felix again, and this time dispels your gaseous form, and you drop into the vines. And she starts to move her hands closer. As she does, the vines themselves start to smoke, as it seems like this whole area is about to burst into flames. But you hear from behind you, they're right. And standing next to you, William, coming out and sort of walking down the vine of flowers, is Timon.
Timon.
Yeah.
Speak with plants. Massively underrated spell.
So, and he walks down and she stops. The smoke stops. The electricity seems to move off of her, and that sort of feral, mad look in her eye drifts away. And he says, "You're holding us here. There's not... You have to let go. The people outside can take care of themselves, but you don't need to do this anymore. You have given everything to this city, and you've given everything to your god, and it's time to do one thing for you, and just let go." And she just starts walking towards him. And then out of each of those flowers on the vines, more and more of the townspeople that you've seen, you see Gary making his way down. All of them start to walk into this area. And
I keep an eye on Gary. He's a wild card. He can't be trusted.
He's a trap. Yeah.
And as they make their way down, you hear that familiar music start to play. And he just says, "Let's all of us just move on together." And he holds out his arms, and she takes them, and they start to dance. And all of the other townspeople just start gathering around, floating down from above and encircling them and watching. And outside you see the rest of the city start to fade away, and that blue dome start to appear above again. And you can see the clouds through the outside. You can see the faculty's airships circling the city through this partially transparent dome. And Layla's form starts to deteriorate as a light from above strikes the bell tower of the Temple of Ilmater, and reflecting off shines onto Layla. And you see for a moment among the ghosts a thin man with what looks like whip wounds across his back, his arms bound in a red cord. And he looks down at her, and she makes eye contact with him for a moment, and he nods and just says, "You have endured quite enough." And when you look back to her, she's her again. The robes are gone. Her face is back to normal, although she is quite ethereal. The lich's body has now just dissolved away into pages. And as that illusion around you starts to fade, the book that you have cracked open, now that you are corporeal again, those pages start to flutter and get sucked inside of the book. There is wind moving through this area for the first time in 600 years, and it is whipping up these flowers, causing the petals to just erupt into a blue storm around you, just completely encircling these two lovers as they dance. The music fades as it too is sucked into the book. And you start to feel like a wind kicks up from under you as you start to raise up out of the hole and into the city itself. And the blue orb shatters. And all of the ethereal forms of the people around you look at you one more time, all of them catching that same notice that you saw a few times in the city. As Layla and Timon dance downwards, both of them looking up at you with this happy, thankful look. And the two of them lay down next to Timon's skeleton, being absorbed into the vines, as everybody returns to their own resting places, cradled among these vibrant blue roses that will live forever. You then realize that the wind that is kicking up under you and the reason that you are floating to the top part of this city is that the city is falling out of the sky.
Yep. It was over ocean, right?
It was over the ocean.
Great.
As we destroy the world with this meteor now falling.
Yeah. This is an Age of Ultron situation now. Great.
But yeah.
And lava
Felix-
destroys the world.
Felix blows his nose into a handkerchief as we float up to the surface, weeping at the sight we just saw. What's Betsy
Yeah.
up to?
Betsy, can you turn yourself?
That understudy is not making it out of there alive.
You see
Betsy-
Betsy actually fall past you. She's standing on like the rim of the hole, looking down and being like, "He learned good. Such a quick learner. Help me!" As she is falling
Betsy,
towards the sea.
if you're any sort of decent understudy for Ruby, can you turn into a giant eagle?
And she starts like flapping her cape around her back.
How
Uh,
fast is this city falling?
I mean,
It is-
plummeting?
It is starting to plummet. Yeah, it was about 500 feet above the sea. I'm going to do this as a skill challenge.
Cool.
How
Erwin,
would
can you
like
turn
to
to flying things?
No, but I can conjure an animal that can.
Because I still have. Well, I forgot when I cast fly earlier. I forgot I have winged boots. I didn't need to cast fly.
I would conjure underneath Betsy and me a pair or a single great eagle, which is I believe a challenge rating. No, a pair of great eagles, giant eagles, which are challenge rating 1, and I believe I can do that with conjure animals. So I do that.
Okay.
So we don't fall to our deaths. And I let the other two deal with themselves because they've both demonstrated the capacity to levitate or fly or something along those lines in the past.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
not really stressed about that.
Yeah.
I was
Probably
gonna
more
just
so like
let this
falling buildings
student
around us.
die, if I'm going to be honest. I figured like this seems like a pretty dangerous school. It seems like students are always probably dying at the whim of like a teacher who is being irresponsible.
Yeah.
And getting the
Owen
hang,
is- Owen is the-
Shannon was an irresponsible teacher who killed her student would have been really fun.
Owen wants to have this over her. It's nothing. It's nothing to do with this kid at all.
So with that, the two eagles swoop both of you up, and you are easily able to fly away from the city. William, I assume you're just levitating.
Levitating, yep.
Felix,
I
using his-
guess I like turn to Felix and I'm like, you do still have the book, right? It's not down there.
Oh,
Yeah, he still has it.
Thank God.
guys, how? I'm nervous about handing that book over to anybody else. Hey.
Oh, I had the same thoughts. But
Well, I
at
mean-
the same time, if there's anyone to deal with it, I think the
Yeah.
nerds are those to deal with it.
That's true.
There's no better place than Ritness Academy for a thing as dangerous as this.
Yeah, all right. Fair.
I could just drop it in the ocean.
No, we were already dropping a giant hole in the ocean.
Oh, that city's gonna get hit with a tsunami.
Yeah. So as you are speaking,
Oh no.
Oh no.
the city hits the water below, and you are pretty quickly enveloped in a new blue dome as hundreds of feet over your head, this water just shoots up. This massive wave starts making its way towards this coastal city. you do see a bunch of these wizards that have been flying around in formation fly after it. And you see them try to throw up a wall of force in front of it, which not even close to big enough to stop this wave. But the thing that saves the city is its construction. The city itself is built to avoid waves. It is built up in the cliffs around the outside. So a lot of very, very wet onlookers, a few people that need to be saved with feather falls as they're pulled from the cliffs. But all in all, not the disaster that it quite easily could have been.
Cool.
Absolutely nothing that could have stopped that. I was like, oh, I'm literally just going to stand there and watch this happen. There's nothing I can do.
I was considering casting Erupting Earth, but it's nowhere near powerful enough to crack a city in half.
Sling fireballs at it. Fireballs at it.
And the amount of mass that was going to hit the ocean is about the same one way or the other, so yeah.
I suppose as long as we get the book back and probably let the faculty know that there is some sort of horrible demon hole at the bottom of the ocean now.
Right next to this.
Otherwise, I think we'll be okay.
I mean, was it bottomless?
I certainly didn't see a bottom. I didn't hear a bottom. I dropped quite a few things down it over the course of that journey and
what happens
didn't
when
hear
it's
a kerplunk.
Are we going to run out of ocean?
I look down.
Is a whirlpool forming?
I mean, it's not a huge hole, and it's a very big ocean.
Well, I like to think that the hole was probably some kind of metaphysical hole that was beyond the understandings we have of gravity and time and darkness and space. And we're just imagine like the way we're all flying right now. You're being held up in the claws of eagles. I've got little wings in my booties, and a ghost is holding William up.
Yeah, I'm not actually like levitating at all. I'm just literally being picked up by the armpits by a ghost.
And I imagine we're moving very slowly back towards the flying ship.
Yeah.
Betsy, you did very well, by the way. It's a solid B+ from me, mate.
And this was the best dinner theater I've done for sure. I gotta get called in on more. Ruby never calls me in. I thought this pact was long served.
Ruby, a warlock patron? She is a real devil.
Speaking as a drama teacher, yes.
So as you're making your way back towards the ship as well is turning now towards you to make its way down. Looking down at the city, you can see that it is not completely submerged. It had made its way close enough to land that the mass under it is actually just connected with the sea floor. Much longer in there, and it would have been a very different story of what happened to that town. But it is sticking out above, and you can actually see down into it now, the waves lapping over the edge into the hole in the center of the city, which leads down to that bottomless well.
Right.
Well, thankfully that's somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
it's the B team's problem.
Yeah, nerds good deal. Can I swoop down and see how the roses are going?
Yeah. So they're not seeming to react to the seawater at all. You know that this salt should really just be, wiping them out. But even below the water, they seem to very quickly adapt to their environment, growing spongier, the ones that are beneath the waves, but the ones that are above just completely regular.
It's a badass plant.
Fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right? I'm super tempted to take a pruning.
So is Felix.
Like,
he'll flutter down next to you and be like,
"You
thinking?
Mate, I am. But they are are they the souls of a person?
Well, aren't all plants?
Fair. I mean, no, but fair. I mean, I'm gonna look after it. Yeah, no, yeah. So I would take a clipping. I would want to propagate.
So does Felix.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just take a flower, a single flower.
Okay.
Just
so
to put it in like,
you're just-
an empty wine bottle next to the typewriter on my sparse
God.
poet room.
Sure.
Of course.
It's the only splash
Perfect.
of color in your entire
It's
room.
perfect. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. And as you are there, I think you do cast one more glance down into the hole. All of you like taking clippings around the side. As you glance down, you can see now that Timon Skeleton is accompanied with Layla's.
Good.
The two of them there wrapped gently in the vines.
Yeah, I think
Kind of close to the very unnerving pit, but a nice image nonetheless.
Look, the vines have got this. I'm sure over time they will grow.
Listen,
The pit
she made a
closed.
pact.
Yeah.
Chuck her
Yeah.
in the hole. Pay this demon off.
I think
just-
Felix would spend like a good, like more than just like as he's clipping it. I think noticing that, I think Felix would probably at some point kind of like on the weird ruins of the city that are there, like sit down, stop flying, and like sit down on them, and he'd have a quiet moment to himself, looking down at their corpses, just thinking for a little while.
So I think taking those clippings and having a sit and a think, and really just now enjoying the sea air, which has cleared out this, desert dry that was inside the bubble. Pretty soon the airship making its way lower, kind of chasing you, but quite unwieldy in its size, making its way down, and you actually see a smaller airship making its way down with 4 very nerdy looking faculty members who are just
here come
like
the nerds.
giddy inside of their bubbles as they come down, and all of them like immediately just spouting theories about what is going on. They were like, an incredible wall of force, obviously powered by these plants, which are clearly unnatural in nature.
Hey, nerds. I'm just as smart as you. I just took a different route in life. But I've got some notes for you I can pass your way. I'm still a potions instructor. We're still faculty. We're just not as, number crunchy as you.
Right. We'll skim your notes.
Our job is to like go in and make sure it's safe for you guys. So, in that vein, be aware it's not safe for you guys.
It's pretty
Yeah,
safe.
There might be some metaphysical creature of time and space and evil in the pit of darkness. So just don't look in the pit.
Yeah, don't make any agreements with the pit. Don't talk to it. Ignore the fucking pit, okay?
Yeah.
If you want to be here, ignore the pit, and the plants are to be respected. They
Don't
are very
you fucking
nice.
dare move any of those bones either.
Yeah, no, the bones stay.
Hold on. They could teach us so much about the history of this place.
They could, but
This
we've
is
got
a
the book.
graveyard. Give
You
it
touch
some
the
respect.
bones, and we're gonna give you. We're gonna
Oh,
shove
mate.
your head in that pit.
You touch
You're
the
gonna
bones,
get
and I
sucked
think
down
the-
into it.
You touch the bones, and I think the flowers will have something to say about it. And I honestly would not fuck with those plants.
As we're both putting clippings of the flowers away.
I asked permission. This is fine.
I think the 4th nerd is just getting grilled. Like my ghost is just screaming at him and pointing, like pointing at things and yelling at him.
It just faints.
When you say they're in bubbles, I like to like hamster balls, like safety.
Yeah,
little,
like protective
excellent,
little bubbles. Yeah,
excellent.
Oh my god, these nerds.
yeah.
Adorable.
So yeah, they start to sort of roll away, all of them. Yeah, still yelling theories at each other as they go to explore. But you can see them taking careful care not to disturb any of the bones as they all unanimously start making their way towards the temple.
Sure. Cool.
And then you see Mads Dubbin step down a ladder onto the ground next to you as he comes up and says, "Well, how'd it go?"
Well, as you can see from our tattered clothing and all of our little thorny, prickly wounds all over, it wasn't perfect, but I think we did an A+ job.
Yeah. Got the book.
Yeah.
Nobody who
Nobody
wasn't
died?
already dead. Nobody who wasn't already dead died.
This is true.
Like hundreds of people died, but they did it ages ago. We sort of
did damn a soul to probably some sort of eternal servitude to some sort of horrible thing in a pit, but really it made that bed. We just helped it lie in it.
Yeah. In fact, we saved a soul from a similar fate, and that one sort of already had actually made a similar
He's
pact.
one step of his way out of it. He's one step of the way out of there.
Yeah.
Well, sounds eventful. You brought the city right down. Wasn't
Yeah,
expecting
sorry
that.
about that. It was sort of integral to the whole getting the book out.
Yeah, we would not have been able to get it out.
The book was what was making it flow.
And you did. You got the book.
Felix has it, yeah. It
Right.
is incredibly dangerous.
Very good. Thank you for the heads up.
Need to be like very, very self-conscious. I mean, Felix,
Yeah,
you looked at it, you couldn't tell.
You gotta have someone who's, connected a little different to reality. They gotta have extra wavelengths, a little extra willpower up in the brain capacity. Wouldn't let any of those fucking nerds open it up because they might be smart, but they didn't got the fortitude, the endurance.
Right, yeah. Well, better not risk the nerds. I'll take it off your hands.
Here you
Cool.
go. And if you
And
don't mind, I'd be happy to help you out since I did survive one of its brain-crunching attempts to take over my mind a bit. I was able to read it a little bit.
Yeah, it did do something funny, but I'm not really sure what it was.
I had a distinct feeling of my memories being sucked away, and then I pulled them back, so... In a controlled environment, you might want to revisit that book. William, you might have lost some good poetry.
Yeah, I think William just kind of looks at you in a bit of shock and stares off into the middle distance, trying to rack his brain for what is gone.
And Felix would light up his wooden pipe and kind of ignoring the massive floating airship above that is making it so he cannot light this pipe at all. And so he's just desperately trying to light this as he looks up to Williams and says, oh, well, I do think you may have gotten great motivation for the next great Spire Academy novel down there, William.
Oh, definitely. I think I'll call it The Drifting City.
I hate it. Stupid title.
No, not a good one? No.
Doesn't
I'll
make
work
any
on
The
it.
sense.
guitar riff and the Who starts playing.
Ow! So, over the next few years, this book is turned in. It absolutely revolutionizes the Spire Academy's history department, as slowly they're able to probe in and picking out memories that are impossible to have been recorded. This book itself, there are rumors down the road that it is linked to a god no one has ever heard of, one that is ancient and primordial in nature. They've nicknamed her Numona, the goddess of memory. The city, which Yarrum has fallen outside of, now boasts it as quite a prominent visiting place, bringing tourists all over to see this blink of the past that has been dropped on their doorstep. As long as nobody makes their way into the depths towards the Whispering Pit, even though those that have heard of the city know that one of the best sights to see is the grave of the lovers, which lies below.
Yeah, definitely some people are getting to that pit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just enough to keep it not fully hungry all the time.
Everyone
Listen.
wonders how there's so many warlock packs, and it's like, yeah, when a Whispering Pit is part of a tourist attraction.
And I think, yeah, the other good thing that you hear is that every year around the same time, there is a wonderful ghostly festival in the name of Ilmater, which takes place out on the island, which can be watched from the shore. And the ball is quite a sight to see.
Ghost Festival, yes.
Ghost Festival.
Yes, you know
Felix
I'm in
goes every
attendance
year.
every year.
Every
yeah.
single year.
Yeah.
And three strange adventurers return, and
Every year we invite Ruby, but she doesn't want to come 'cause
Well,
she has a show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we bring Betsy.
We bring Betsy, yeah.
So that is that's the shot, everybody. I think this is the first thing I've like ever finished, so I don't know how to end these things.
No, that was beautiful. It was a lovely ending.
Yay. Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all to players. That was a load of fun. I absolutely loved how you guys solved that. Yeah, a very hard. It is not very often that you roll initiative and have everybody be like, no, I will not.
Absolutely not. We are not fighting
Continue
this fight.
making
We will die
persuasion
before we
checks.
do.
No, I love a game that can be solved with persuasion. Yeah, makes for an interesting story. I was like, hey, you didn't need to fight anything. I was like, yeah, I killed a whole bunch of zombies, but I didn't need to. I could have stood there and exactly the same thing would have happened.
It is very amazing how much you made every character. Even like the Magister was someone that I was like, ooh, I bet if we just had one good conversation with him, we would have been like, oh no, you can't go in the pit, man. Like we gotta keep you alive. Yeah, I just felt for every character, every single person in the city,
really
even old
did,
Gary.
Oh, especially
Garrett.
old Gary.
Gary.
Gareth, I think his name actually was.
It was Garen. I had it written down.
Garen, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess
God,
let's
Gary.
go through and we can do some favorite moments and then say goodbye to everyone. So and if you want to throw in like any ideas you have for where your character ended up after this grand adventure, definitely throw them in as well.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah, I think for me to start it, definitely my favorite moment was everybody refusing to fight. That was really good, and I love the ways that each of you, like all with the same sort of goal, came up with these really unique ways to persuade Layla into seeing the truth. Like so heartbreaking and all these things that I wanted to be like, I don't want you to roll, I want that to just work because you just did. That makes sense. What you're saying makes sense, but
Dog shit persuasion rolls.
yeah, everyone
so
failed
bad.
the persuasion rolls.
Thank
very
God
funny,
for a
too.
flash of genius.
Yeah.
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 And that I had forgotten about it up to the last moment when we really needed it.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that I have Speak with Dead at will. And like the moment Timon came down, I was like, oh yeah, why don't I just ask Timon to like get up and make a speech? That would have worked. And then he did it anyway, and I was like, well, oof, that would have been really cool if I had thought of that ahead of time.
Yeah. Anybody want to do their favorite moments?
I'm trying to pin it down to just one or two.
And anyone in the chat, if you had any favorites,
Yeah,
shout 'em
please
out
chuck them up.
for the characters.
Of tonight, I think my favorite moment was we're gonna ambush this guy in our house, in his house. And then we started the ambush and we're like, we didn't think this through. We got to ambush and we're like, okay, let's go.
No, we
That's
had a
idea. Ambush
plan.
is a good idea. Let's go.
We were like, okay, no, we're gonna jump him. You're gonna turn him small, and you're gonna make him, and you're gonna snatch the book. And then he comes in, and we turn invisible, or we hide, and he proceed to not do the thing we had agreed to do. And then we're like, wait, we didn't plan for this. I'm like, no, we did. Remember how we planned for this?
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite moment. Just like the cavalier attitude of this is what we're gonna do. We're immediately going to forget the plan that we even had a plan, and then just still manage to just sneak by. Like
The most condensed D&D moment of all time. That is how every plan goes in D&D. It was just in quick time.
Yeah. I really liked Betsy. Betsy Blue. I'm actually curious. Did you make up Betsy Blue, or did Shannon give you Betsy Blue?
I made up Betsy Blue on the spot because I realized I forgot. Me and Shannon had talked about very briefly how her character could exit, and had talked about this idea that she, as the drama teacher, would have a call an understudy from anywhere card to just swap places. So that's
cool
what
idea.
Yeah.
And telling her to go, and it was like, go teach him the to dance. Oh, okay. I don't. Your scene's in there. Yeah, that was lovely. Yes. Hello.
John, you have a favorite moment from tonight?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Well, this was so much fun. Like I this whole session was great. I think my favorite, honestly, my favorite moments were all like, the same as everyone else's. Like I loved the dynamic between the three of us fumbling through all of this, and every now and then looking at each other going, "Wait." But I think, like Mike, your descriptions tonight in general were just on point. Like when I got hold of the book and you started to talk about what I saw when I tried to look for Layla's life, and you kind of like briefly, I was blown away in that moment because I already cared a lot about Layla as Felix, but as soon as you started talking about how she always put work first, and in these like dying moments was the first time she ever was like, I'm gonna be a person, I'm gonna care about myself, and I'm gonna do something that feels good and feels right, and then the world ends around her. And I was like, like that moment and the flower moment in the end were just absolutely my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Big shout out to all of the page deconstruction of the world as well, and how everything kept breaking down. Like when the boulder came down and shattered into pages, like that had the crumbling house and stuff. All of that was really, really like I had these amazing mental images in my head of all of that.
Yes. And like it felt like we could poke anything in the city, and you'd have something for us there. Because like even when Erwin was starting to talk Waylon out, which is another favorite moment of mine, was Erwin talking Waylon out of the illusion, and you described his spiritual form coming. I was like, hell yes. I was 2 seconds away from casting Dispel Magic on him to see what would happen. But that was so much better.
Yeah.
This was definitely one of those scenarios where there is no answer, you know what I mean? Like there's no one thing that you have to do, but it is about walking around and poking things, and whatever you latch onto, just that it is a difficult and easy scenario to write, because you just write what everybody did in a day.
Yeah.
And that's all. You just have to know what everybody did in that day,
and how the world
just
works.
About figuring that out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the essence of a good one shot or three shot. Yeah. You have a problem with a really complicated solution. You do, I think, have to figure out a way to do it, like how you would do it, so that just to make sure it's actually possible. But then then you unleash other minds on it and just see how they solve it, because they're guaranteed they won't do it the way you thought.
We were even joking about we could just go the pit path and just completely fulfill the pit's needs. And I was like, and that's another sign of a good kind of like 1 to 3 shot. Is like you could really just fully renegade this and just end
the evil option.
City.
Like,
yeah,
and an organic evil option, as opposed to it being like forced down upon you. Be like, you could just do this. No, it's like, no, we naturally ponder that because we encounter the pit, and it's such a mysterious thing.
Yeah.
And it still gets us what we want as well. Like if any of us were playing an evil character, an evil aligned character, it would be like, well, yeah, sure. I mean, well, the pit will get free or whatever, but like, and the lich is probably going to go crazy, but like, I'm here for the book, and I don't give a
book.
I don't care about these people. But instead, we were all like,
get a sweet deal out of that pit.
Yeah, we were all so sappy.
Bunch of softies.
Problem is, I was playing a character based on a real world character who definitely would not sacrifice an entire city full of people to satiate the demands of a pit or a company for a book. Yeah, you would have had difficult time convincing Owen to go with that.
Ruby, maybe.
Yeah,
like Ruby might be
Yeah,
down there, but like you can get me back in time for the show. Like, let's do it.
That's
let's
true,
this place up.
actually.
Like,
yeah.
The pit's like, I tell you what, I'll get you back in time for the opening night, and also make sure the tech goes off without a hitch. And she'd be like, "Yep, no, here's my soul. There you are."
I mean, I could even
enjoy.
see the pit being like, "Oof, I'm not even that cold, Ruby. It's back a few steps."
Calm down, lady.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, unless there's
Do our
anything.
outs?
Yeah, we'll just say we'll say our
Let's
goodbyes.
see.
We'll say who we are. Let's start with.
Do we want to say what became of our characters in our goodbyes too?
Yeah. Say what became. If you can think of what became of your characters, I'd love that. Yeah. So we'll start with you, Sean.
Great. So before that, my name is Sean O'Donovan. You can find me at Odo_Sean in all social media. That's SEAN version of Sean. I am the primary DM over at Paradise RPG. We are currently in the second season of our first and main campaign. And we got plenty of other cool, excellent programming over there, so come check it out. We have a Jasper's Game Day weekend coming up in July. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to be doing one-shots from Thursday all the way to Sunday with a few other events in between, like game nights and a little panel in one morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some really cool names. The GM list is going to come out very soon, including the auctions to try to bid to be to fill one of the 2 guest seats on each of the games. We've got some really cool folks there, so definitely check it out. For those of you in Australian time, we do have early morning games in our Eastern Standard Time that you can bid for as well, and actually play at a reasonable hour, your side. But yeah, come check us out at Paradise RPG. As far as what Felix does with the rest of his life, I imagine he attempts to brew some revolutionary potions out of the flower, the endless flower that he clipping he acquired. He would have cultivated it with hopes of making some really awesome potions to help as many people as possible. And then he would bother William all the time to read the manuscript for how he writes all this down, because and absolutely adore going to the festival every single year to pay his respects to Layla and Timon.
All right. Moving on to AgentNumberOne.
Hello, my name is AgentNumberOne. You can find me over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AgentNumberOne, where I stream on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I play a lot of strategy games, but also dip myself into various variety games. Lately, we've been playing Kenshi, which is a very bizarre, janky game. It's a lot of fun. You can also find me for more D&D over at Wonders and Blunders, where I play as a lizard folk barbarian, as well as do the sound effects and music. It's a weekly podcast episode, 1-hour episodes, and it's a lot of fun. Takes place in this same world
Cool.
that FOMO has taken place in. So if you like the stuff in this and you want to learn more about the lore of that world, I'm learning things just from playing this game. So tune in, check us out. As for what happened to William, I think, William is tied up a lot with this ghost and writing poetry. He spends a lot of his time dealing with the literature department and trying to teach a bunch of ungrateful mages the value of poems. Nobody ever really wants to learn it. You always end up with like 20 kids in a poetry class. Only one of them really likes poems. One of them hates poems but loves poems by the end of it. And then there's like 18 kids who don't even have a name on the credits at the end of the movie. I think really the big thing with William is that every year he comes back to this festival. He really enjoys it. I think probably the ghosts really enjoy having him around. He enjoys the opportunity to speak to so many dead who have been dead for a long time, but they all hate the Banshee because she's just free and she's just going around, and unlike all the other ghosts who are having nice pleasant conversations and dancing, she might be dancing and stuff, but she's just screaming at them all the time. And they're all starting to realize after a couple festivals, like, oh god, this is why he hates that ghost so much. I'm starting to see where that comes from.
Amazing. And Josh.
Madame and Monsieur, Dame und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I am Josh the Pirate, and I have been playing Erwin this evening, all morning, wherever you are in the world. The friendly lizard folk ranger druid, and yeah, if you like my face and voice, you can check me out here on Roll for Damage on Monday nights for the Humblewood game, of which I am the DM, and on Wednesday nights, just this coming Wednesday night, for the second part of our two-shot, featuring Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting, and the rules therein for the Shadow of the Broodmother, with our good friends Mike Fardy and Sean and Shregril and Karen Schlenk, and there's one other, Dan Swelto. They're all going to be there, playing their silly characters in a party that works way too well together, like crazy well, like we may have to do it again sometime. In other news, I am also part of the There Be Dragons crew. We are a 5e D&D podcast set in a fantasy gunpowder setting where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Scan Felspar. I'm also a puppy dad, and and yeah, I know, she's like, I'm happy and comfy, leave me alone. Yeah, I think where Erwin would actually have almost devoted a good portion of his life, the off hours when he's not teaching, to propagating these plants and spreading them all over the place. Like he puts several different groves of them. He wants these things to really last. Finds incredible value in them, and yeah, so he'd every time he goes to a new plane, he'd probably take one with him and plant it in a safe, secluded spot. And yeah, beyond that, he's only probably got another decade of teaching in him before he goes back to his swamp and takes what he learned back to his people. Yes, this is Siri, everybody. Yeah, thanks very much, guys. It's been super fun.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I've been Mike Fardy. You can catch me on Wednesday during Josh's one shot second part. One shots are great and easy to do in one. I'm also the DM over at Wonders and Blunders. As Agent mentioned, you should go check us out. We're about to release episode 100. That's so exciting. Also, there are lots of other great shows on this channel. I believe so our schedule is below. So check it out. We've got Humblewood, we've got Academy of Xandar, and we've got Scales Above.
Coming back
on Mondays.
soon.
Coming back soon, yeah, very soon. So check that out. And thank you all again, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, we will.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. See you soon.
Good night, good morning.
Have a great weekend.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do a raid.
Raid time.
Oh, yeah, we should do that. Stick around for the raid.
Stick around for the raid. Yes, we spread the love as we always do. The dreaded GM is up. We're going to raid the dreaded GM. He's doing an art stream with his good lady wife, by the looks of it, Elysian, who is a fantastic artist. And I have some art actually. I won a competition of theirs last year, and I commissioned a piece of art of my last puppy, who unfortunately got hit by a car at the very beginning of lockdown last year. So as a memorial to young Typhoid, my little dog, I got him made as a D&D character. So Elysian drew my dog as a rogue with a pair of attack bunnies, because I also have rabbits. So we will go and raid them, because they're lovely, and they're doing Coda's Big Day Out soon. I think they've got a charity weekend coming up, so let's do that. Chuck them a raid, go and check them out, say hi, tell them where you're from, and yeah, we will do that. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.